Have you ever heard of the people who worship Mother Nature? Wait, before you say what in the world is that, let me clarify a bit. When I say worshipping nature, I mean a religion whose God is the nature. Not like people being environmentalists or only loving it because it's a home to us. Well, today we will be unpicking some knots about these unique people, specifically talking the pagan people in the Roman Empire and the socio-political power shift they had on religion, from paganism to Christianity. As shown in red on the map, the Roman Empire had occupied a wide territory in the past, including Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria, Spain, Italy, France, and England as we know today. And national changes on religion have always caused striking revolutions, which also, of course, applied for the Roman Empire.
So what exactly is paganism then?
Well, paganism was particularly a religion, again, where people worshipped nature and practiced polytheism or any other ethnic religion except Judaism. This lasted until the end of the 6th century, and it had been the Roman Empire's main religion for quite some time. It is actually estimated that paganism was practiced between 753 BC and 680. This religion, of course, had different outcomes for different classes in society, which meant that there was an inescapable social discrimination in the whole Roman population. In the Roman Empire, worshipping pagan gods and obeying the emperors were completely different things. Emperors had a spiritual authority over the public as well as their land, while the pagan gods were only of coexistence to them. Christianity, however, supplied equality for all social classes, and of course their god was not a coexistence. Therefore, it was really obvious that emperors no longer had the greatest or most divine authority over the public anymore.
Well, that's interesting, but how could we put all these events in a timeline?
Well, we can start off by the year 49 AD. This is when the Great Council of Jerusalem took place. Until then, whoever wanted to become a Christian had to follow certain Jewish rules. However, Apostle Peter was opposed to that idea and managed to persuade everyone against him. This led to many more people adopting that religion. However, the first step towards actually improving the quality of life of Christians within the Roman Empire came from the Emperor Trajan, who prohibited the trial and sentence of Christians without a formal complaint. In year 250 AD, the Emperor Decius ordered that the Decian attack persecution took place. It was the first coordinated persecution that targeted Christians who did not take part into the sacrifices towards the gods and to the emperor because they believed that only God should be worshipped. This caused many Christians to be imprisoned and executed, including Pope Fabian. This also caused tensions between the Christians themselves, more specifically between the ones who had performed the sacrifices and the ones who had not.
Okay, was there a center to all these persecutions?
Yes, there was actually, and it was in Comedia. In 303 AD, during the pagan festivals of the Terminalia, Diocletian, who was then the emperor, ordered that the newly built church of Nicomedia be razed and looted. The next day, he issued the first edict against Christians, which ordered similar measures to be taken across the empire. This caused great panic within the city of Nicomedia. Galerius then placed the blame on Christians. In 311 AD, Galerius signed the Edict of Toleration, which officially ended the Decian persecution, and it was the first one to legalize Christianity. A year later, in 312 AD, the Battle of Ponte Milvio was fought. The night before the battle, Constantine dreamt of victory, and he saw a cross in the sky with the phrase, "In this sign you shall win." In 313 AD, the Edict of Milan was signed. It was the agreement to treat all Christians equally and well within the Roman Empire. And many years later, in 380 AD, Theodosius I made Christianity the head church of the Roman Empire, punishing all the pagan rituals.
We think of this huge collision of mindsets and outcomes of these two religions as something life-changing. But what did the emperors think, and how did they react?
Good question. So let's look briefly to more examples. So the first emperor who was to face Christianity was called Nero. I mean, I hope you know, when you take a baby's pacifier away, it starts screaming and crying its lungs out. Well, that Emperor Nero was frustrated as much as that baby, due to the fact that the Christian people did not bow down to him, as it was expected at that time, because he was the emperor, the most divine person on the whole Roman Empire. Well, therefore, unfortunately, he attributed the great fire of Rome, the great fire of a Christian community living in Lyon, and along with the persecutions causing hundreds of death and damage, occurring more often and violently over the time. After Nero, Vespasian became the next emperor. Yes, a new emperor, better laws, more equality for all people. No, that did not happen. Vespasian became the next emperor and the next Christian hater. His only aim was to restore paganism fully and to keep it in the whole Roman Empire. So he caused the great murder of a Christian population living in Lyon. Also, with increasing number of persecutions. And heads up, he fed the dead bodies of people to circus lions. Yes, to circus lions. It's really intimidating, right? Well, this was his goal, or any other person's goal, to wipe the Christians out from the Roman Empire and to keep paganism fully. And yes.
Well, there must have been multiple reasons as to why there was so much friction between them, right?
Yes, actually there were multiple reasons, you're right. The main one being the fact that in Rome, the power of the emperor was a divine one, not a human one, and the emperor was to be considered as one amongst the gods. With this being said, the population was expected to make certain sacrifices and to give certain gifts to the emperor in his honor. On the other hand, Christianity only recognized one divine authority, one divine power, and the Roman emperor wasn't considered as such because their God was one and one only. This led to the Christian people being thought as people who didn't recognize the emperor's political position and authority, which then led to most of their persecutions. Another main difference between them was their distinct messages, which collided with each of their ideals. For example, the main message that Christianity has always conveyed was the message of equality, fraternity, and resurrection. This partially moral message rode countercurrent to the pagan Roman and Sanhedrin ideals, which was the reality of no one being the same, let alone in the same brotherhood. Also, as stated previously, the population was divided into different social classes, which added furthermore to their differences.
Okay, then were there any similarities between paganism and Christianity, or were they completely different things?
Actually, there were some similarities. The main one being their very similar hierarchical structure, which was seen as a threat from Rome. So at the bottom of the Christian structure, we have the Christian community, obviously, who were chaired by a deacon who dealt with charity work, and a presbyter who presided over holy ceremonies. These Christian communities were confined in certain territories called dioceses, and they were, let's say, governed by a bishop who remained one for life, who verified good and correct Christian behavior, and who just kept an eye on his community. So in conclusion, this power shift from paganism to Christianity has shaped our world as we know it, and has made its way into society by spilling an immense amount of blood and sadness. So this religion grew at its own pace, but thanks to its inclusive morals, which brought comfort to the whole of the population, it spread like wildfire. There were many emperors who despised this religion and who felt threatened by it, but in the end, persistence and overall faith within the empire led to Christianity overtaking paganism. Thank you.